Here we are on the new portal, Wandering Vendors. It's a new portal, but it's like made of like old stuff. It's basically Wandering Trainers, but instead you get support items instead. End up hitting Aegis and Gem, which is pretty good. Gem, if you don't know, Gem procs like the dummy counts as a Gem unit. So usually Gem is just like a really strong thing to get to have on a dummy since you just basically just end up getting so much money. And this is my second game on PBE like entirely. So I spent a lot of time reading. I don't really know what or like not like on the playtest entirely, so I don't really know like what's what yet. And one thing that I do use and I recommend you using as well, if you're new to like getting new to sets, is they added this in a recent set. I don't know which one exactly, but I know it's like relatively new. When you right click on a champion, it sort of categorizes it for you. Like for example, like Caitlyn here or Ari here is magic caster, Caitlyn was attack caster, Malphite would be like magic tank, Nico would be magic tank. Here is Midnight Siphon, Lucky Ricochet, Caretakers. Caretakers is old. I sort of have like a self-imposed rule when it comes to like stuff like this, like playtests or like PBE. If there's something new, you click on it. Yeah, so I'm not getting Caretaker's favor. I don't really want the Ricochet thingy. I was considering the passing the canvas, but I don't really know what the Ink Shadow thing is yet. Since it's my second game, and I just end up clicking on Midnight Siphon. If you haven't played in previous sets, Midnight Siphon is sort of like hero augment. It basically buffs a certain unit, like a unit in specific. For in this scenario, it's Yorick. How Yorick works is he casts a spell and he sucks 2 units, or you'll be able to see here. But with the hero augment, I think it increases the damage dealt from the suck, as well as sucking 3 units instead. Usually when you take these, you set your board up around like this specific unit. Most of the time it's reroll. When it's like a low cost hero augment, you usually reroll it. So the goal of this game is to reroll Yorick. And Yorick's trait are Behemoth and Umbral. What Behemoth is a tank trait. And Behemoths gain a certain amount of extra armor and MR, and when one Behemoth dies, the other Behemoths gain extra MR and armor and MR for a small period of time. And then Yorick's other trait, his main trait, is Umbral. It's one of like the new vertical traits. You see what it does is it highlights certain hexes on the map, and on those hexes, if you put units on them, they gain a certain amount shield. And if you're an Umbral unit, they on the hex they also gain an execute. So as of right now, like the numbers are obviously like open to being changed for balance reasons. Right now, if you're on the Umbral hex, which I'll end up showing in a bit, once I get an Umbral unit, you gain 250 HP shield and a 12% execute. The goal in my head, since I don't really know anything about the set yet, is I'm going to play Vertical Behemoth, which is just a bunch of tanks. I'm just going to have a hero augment Yorick that just does a lot of damage while tanking everything. The first Umbral unit I find, so I just level and put it in. You see, like the Umbral is like the blue hexes, like these hexes with the moons in them. And yeah, it's a 2, 4, 6, 9 trait. At 4, it basically just increases the shield number and the execute number. At 6, it turns every hex on the map into Umbral. So everything becomes enlightened with like the blue purple moonish thing. And yeah, the goal is to just ideally play around Yorick. Just build whatever I can around Yorick. This is the first encounter. This encounter is Aurelia. If you don't know what encounters are, it's the new set mechanic. Basically, random times, like these giant champion statues will spawn. Like in this case, it's Aurelia, and they all have different effects. Aurelia, for example, is basically just free movement on carousel. And the thing is, you don't know when an encounter will come. Like they're not like predetermined like augment rounds. So Yeah, you just have to kind of like be on your toes for like this one in specific. And yeah, this Yorick hero augment looks kind of cool. You just sit there and you just drain tank suck 3 people. I'm pretty excited for like hero augments, like hero augment like augments to come back, especially the low cost ones. I feel like they like usually the hero augments like they historically haven't had like the best like sort of like balance history, but they've always been like pretty fun. For example, in set 9, there was a hero augment if you did play called the Boss. It's a 2 cost set reroll. I think that augment was either really bad or only really good. But the thing is, like, I do enjoy like the splash of like uniqueness that hero augments like that bring into the game. And here I'm basically just like, since I don't really know like what any of the units are or like what their traits are, I'm just plugging Yorick in and just trying to see like what else I could play with it. Like what Umbral units, what are the like similar cost Umbral units or Behemoth units, and maybe I can reroll something else as well. Here I'm basically just holding like I don't really know what anything is, so I'm just holding whatever I think looks like it could go in. And to me, that's basically just whatever makes the synergy bar look good. Here we're going to another encounter. Kobuko. Invite you to dance with him. The more players join in, the better the reward. So here, it's just like everyone. I think everyone gets like the same amount of things, or like the same, not the exact same things, like the same amount. Like for example, or yeah, like you saw the blue orbs flying. Here I got 3 blue orbs. If you want, you can be like a nuisance to everyone and just not stand in. It's all completely up to you. Now, crush test dummies, combat caster. Been playing an entire set with it. Boring. Combat caster. Playing an entire set with it. Another boring. And I'm basically just like trying to look at the Heavenly Crest and like what it does. So if you played in previous sets or like a previous set 7 in specific, there was this trait that is really similar to Heavenly. It was called Guild, and for those who haven't played it, basically what Heavenly is, there are a bunch of different Heavenly units, and each of them provide a bonus. So for example, Kha'Zix, like a 1 cost unit, Kha'Zix is a Heavenly unit. It provides crit percent chance to the entire team. Um, Kha'Zix crit percent chance. Malphite is armor and MR. Nico HP. Soraka is AP. Kiana is AD. Wukong is attack speed, and the emblem is Omnivamp. And it provides like it's the set like number bonus to the entire team, but the heavenly units themselves, depending on how many heavenly units are in, the heavenly units themselves get an extra bonus. So at 2 heavenly, they get 100% bonus. At 3 heavenly, 115. 4 heavenly is 140. 5 is 165. Yeah, as you can see, if you can pause, you want to pause like on the, and you can just read on the left. I do think a trait like this is extremely good and to have like in the game in terms of like I don't know what the right word is, so I'm just gonna say like game design. I think like traits like these are like really easy to splash in and makes the set like just like makes like slashing some traits in really nice and convenient. But yeah, this Heavenly York is looking like a beast. The only downside is I only have one Yorick. My goal from this spot is I don't really plan on rerolling like Umbral Behemoth anymore. And my goal is to just reroll Heavenly Yorick and Soraka. Soraka is the like premier AP carry in the Heavenly tree. As you can see, like there's not like that wide of a variety of like cost in Heavenly. It's 2/1 cost, 2/2 cost, 1/3 cost, and a legendary. Like there's no 4 cost. There's only 1/3 cost as well. Oh, Soraka's ability is if you played League, Soraka's ability is the same thing as her E, unless they've changed it now. It just targets largest clump, instant circular damage on the ground, and mana reaves. I see like the unit that was just fighting there. It's Annie. I think like one thing that like this set is doing a lot of is they aren't really playing the units traditionally to what they are. Here's like another encounter. Aloon offers you a choice of completed items, which is random. It's just basically just a complete item anvil randomly. But one thing that I think like this set has a lot of is like they don't fit under their like traditional roles. For example, like Annie is like an AP carry, like usually like in League and in the previous sets. But in this set, it's a tank, and I do think it's probably one of the coolest 4 costs in this set, simply because when it casts, it summons Tibbers, but the Tibbers is a panda, and it looks like the panda from Jujutsu Kaisen. Don't know what it is. It's a super good anime. Highly recommend. To go over really quickly, like most of the heavenly units for the 1 cost, it's Kha'Zix and Malphite. Kha'Zix is like an assassin, AD carry assassin. Malphite's a tank. 2 cost is Nico. Nico is an AP tank. 3 cost Soraka AP carry. Okiana is a 2 cost AD carry, like melee AD carry, and Wukong is a legendary bruiser, like AD bruiser. End up hitting Set, which is the new legendaries. I think he's really cool. He's Faded, Umbral, and he's Warden. He's a triple trait. And as you can see, he benches units. That's like his passive. Basically what it is he'll bench 2 units to his left and right, and for every 1,000 HP those units have, he'll gain 1% permanent AD. What he does is his ultimate from League, where he'll just like pick up the unit that he's like looking at and just like throw it back and slam it. What I'm up against here is Ethereal Blades. If you played in set 7, it's basically Time Knife, the hero augment for Shen. It gives Shen like extra range as well as true damage. They don't really get anything new. I don't know, like Behemoth Emblem is like kind of boring. I don't really consider that as new. I ended up putting Wukong on 7, which is like the premier heavenly legendary. Super cool. Basically, what Wukong does is on the first cast, he'll cast like a baby version of his spell. So at first cast, he'll cast 1. On second cast, he'll cast 1.5. On third cast, he'll cast 2. If that makes sense. Every single cast, he does like a little bit extra. As you can see, like the first cast was just like that little staff spin. Second cast is like a bigger staff spin. And third cast is like that giant staff slam. He's built like a bruiser, so like stuff like BT, Titan, Sterax. I end up just giving up on Yorick. Yeah, I don't know. I do have the Yorick hero augment, but I don't know. Like no Yorick should come into me. So yeah, goodbye Yorick. Something I am noticing about the Heavenly trait is, as you can see, the only trait I have is Heavenly, but as you can see, like lots of the unfilled traits, Altruist, Arcanist, Behemoth, Duelist, Reaper, Sage, Umbral, they're all 1 out of 2, which I think is really good set design. It means that their like intention like with this trait is to make it like easily splashable. It's super easy to just fit in a bunch like fit in heavenly units that fit onto your ward, as well as reaching a bunch of other like necessary traits or like vital traits to play. In my setup, like 2 traits that I am looking to aim for is Sage, which is Wukong's secondary trait, and Altruist, which is Soraka's secondary trait. What Sage does is first 2 rows, they all get Omnivamp, super good for Wukong himself. Back 2 rows, they gain AP. And for Altruist is the Altruist units heal the lowest HP unit for 15% of the damage they deal. So it's like sort of like a baby Gunblade. I'm kind of clinging onto this Yorick since I have the hero augment. Although Yorick's not really doing anything, I'm just clinging onto it to cling on. My first Yorick too. Nice. Oh, to go over basically just like most of the heavenly units. Kha'Zix's ability is his E from League. It's the leap, and it leaps onto the lowest HP unit. Kiana is. I've never played Kiana in League before, so I can't really relate that to anything. But I know it's one of the spells. Kiana positions itself like best in a line, like in the best line possible to get like the best angle for her spell, and she basically just throws a bunch of frisbees. I don't really know how else to describe Kiana. Malphite is pretty simple. You just gain armor and MR. Malphite doesn't really do much. And Nico is, I don't think. Oh, Nico's ability is her ultimate. I think she like kind of goes into the air and slams down a little bit. Like this heavenly trait, there's not like that much diversity in the trait. I guess there's like an 80 carry, like 1 cost 80 carry, 2 cost 80 carry, 1 cost tank, 2 cost tank, and a 3 cost AP carry with a legendary. Okay. What am I saying? Like there is like kind of diversity, but there's only 1 3 cost and no 4 cost. So heavenly seems to be more so like a low cost trait. And like in that aspect, like missing diversity. It's mainly built of low cost. And here I don't really know like what the legendaries are, or like what their synergies are that well. And I'm just trying to see like what legendary I can plug into my board that like fits like the 2 cost traits. That unit is Hui. I'm hovering right now. Magic Caster. Hui is like the lead unit of the set. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it is Inktail Fables, and Hui is a painter. You can't have an Inktail Fable set without the painter. Got Lissandra. Lissandra is a AP carry. Of the AP carry out of the legendary tier. She is a single target AP carry, but she's basically like the new Kiana from set 10. Or if you play like previous sets, she's like Tom Kench, like from set 6. She's a Porcelain Arcanist, and how her spell works, it's her ultimate from League, but instead of Ice Tomb, it's a teapot, because she's porcelain themed. And it teapots them for 3 seconds. Teapots them while they're teapotted, they're CC'd, and it does high single target damage. But once if the teapot or the unit size teapot is teapotted, dies. If they have no items, they drop gold. If they have items, they'll drop a component. And what Porcelain does is, after cast, you get a little bit of damage reduction. Kind of just cruising here since, yeah, Soraka 3 with the Heavenly Spat. One thing that I am looking forward to this set is, I like, this is just the art. I don't know. I really like the entire art theme. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but like the units are there's just like the units like they're just nice to look at. I think that's like a simple way to just put it, or a simple way to put it. The person's playing Behemoth reroll, or not. It's like vertical Behemoth with Shen reroll from the Shen hero augment. Udyr is the legendary Behemoth. It's a magic fighter. What Udyr does is he gains a shield on first cast, then he'll like ram, and then he'll pick a unit, pick it up, and like slam it down. Instant Wukong 2. I don't really know what Hui does, so I just play it. But one thing about Hui is, as you can see on my bench, there's like the middle bench slot is like highlighted, and like what Hui does is Hui's trait is artist, and depending on what unit is put into the hex, after a certain amount of rounds, it'll make another copy. So for example, Wukong is a 5-cost unit. It'll take 5 turns to make a copy of Wukong. Or if I put Ornn in, for example, it's a 4-cost unit. It'll take 4 turns to make Ornn. And the amount of turns it takes to make a unit reduces depending on the star level. Lissandra encounter just offers an item, 12 component anvil, or 12 gold. But yeah, I think on 2-star Hui, it's 4 turns for a Wukong. And then on my bench is also Xayah and Rakan. I think this is the first time they've added something like this to the game. Xayah and Rakan. As you can see, it's a 2-in-1 unit. In the front 2 rows, it becomes Rakan. In the back 2 rows, it becomes Xayah. I end up putting that in so you can see what it does exactly. But when it's Xayah, it's kind of like the ultimate. Or it looks like the ultimate from Xayah from League, or it just throws a bunch of feathers. When it's Rakan, I think it's the W, where it's like you dash an area and you like make a little circle around yourself and you lift things up. I am not too familiar with League anymore, so these are like as best of a description as I can give for them. Oh, and also like on the Wukong on my bench, there's the number 2. That's the counter, like the turn counter. This game, I do end up kind of disappointing myself. Um, yeah, I end up not going for Wukong 30 when I probably could have. I don't know why. I don't know what's going through my head. But yeah, I'm sorry. As you can see, Hoi just painted another copy of Wukong. I don't know if this is how it is on live, but I don't think this Scuttle or this Rift Herald is supposed to be this small. It's kind of cute. Zoom in here, check out Udyr. Udyr is a super cool unit. Looks super cool. Here, I kind of realized I can go for like Wukong, but yeah, I don't know what is exactly in my head or what's going through my head. I end up not going for it. I think it's like by the time it's like I decide like, hey, I can probably go for Wukong. Uh, there's not enough time left, and yeah, since I don't have like much experience with this set, it's like kind of hard to roll for. I mean, especially after losing this, I definitely should be going for Wukong. I don't know where the for fun in me is. Oh, okay, yeah. So I think like my keybinds are like messed up or something like that. So it's like I can't go for it. I go there to try and make sure that I can roll for it. I end up losing this last one, so it's like I'm thinking like, oh, you know, like it's not a big deal. I can just lose again, and then I can just go all in for it. But yeah, I don't really know what changes. I don't know what changes, but I end up winning. I'm sorry. I'll never make this mistake again. Yeah, that's it. My second game on PBE entirely.